Hello, a very good morning. Welcome along to Ireland AM on Virgin Media 1. It is Monday the 25th of September and we are here to start your day on the right notes.
Good weekend. Yeah, shouting in the
croaky.
stadium, were you? Yeah, we've got something for everyone this morning. From sporting, as he was doing this weekend, to courting. Let's get into it.
Yes, what a weekend in Irish sport. Very shortly, we're going to be rounding up the latest sports stories from the weekend. Of course, there was the rugby, the Solheim Cup, the football, so much to get through. That's coming up at 7:15.
How are you? Were you out of your skin, honestly?
That was the
in
best
Paris.
experience, honestly. Unbelievable experience. What a win for Ireland. It's still the pool stages, so
I know.
Can't be getting too ahead of ourselves, but 35,000 Irish supporters in the stadium yesterday or Saturday. It was just epic.
Yesterday, Saturday. He doesn't know anymore. He's had quite a weekend.
So
We're going to be taking a look at some of the stories from the world of tech, from brain chips to another French story, actually, radioactive iPhones. That's coming up in a while.
We're also going to be chatting to some of the contestants from Grá Ar An Trá, Virgin Media's new series for singletons looking for love. Ask Elga.
Contestato. Well, you come on. Be good. Alan. Contestato, love.
Good morning. So, Tommy, have we peaked? Have we peaked too soon?
Stop it.
Stop.
All right, okay.
It's only the start.
Now, we've got lots on the way. We're going to be serving up a scrumptious soda bread and squash pizza in the kitchen. Plus, we've autumnal outwear on the catwalk and more scandal than you can handle in our showbiz slot. That's coming up at 9:45. Now, Derek's out and about in Dublin this morning. How's it going, Derek?
More scandal than you can handle. Love it all. Anyway, we're live here just along the banks of the River Liffey here this morning. I was actually swimming in there about 2 weeks ago for the Liffey swim. Anyway, following all that rain we had, yes, there's a lot of it across the islands. A lot drier, a lot more settled out there today. Some northern showers with the best of the sunshine really across the eastern and southeastern areas before we see rain in from the west later on today. Now, it's been a while since we've broadcast live here from the heart of the capital. We're off to Tampa Bar this morning to pay a visit to the Rock and Roll Museum. So think Ash, think U2, think Thin Lizzy, and of course think the late great Sinead O'Connor. So we're going to be paying a visit to that a little bit later on this morning. Guys, is that a beautiful sunrise coming up just over our shoulder? It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Good morning from the heart of Dublin.
Certainly is. Looking forward to that a little later, Derek. But now let's go over to the Virgin Media News Hub. Here's Geraldine Lynagh.
Thanks, Alan. Good morning. A man is still being questioned by Gardaí in connection with a crash in Bundoran in County Donegal in which a 9-year-old boy was killed. The accident happened on Saturday evening on the Atlantic Way Road in Bundoran. The child who died has been named locally as Ronan Wilson, who was from County Tyrone. A man in his 20s was arrested yesterday and is being questioned at a Garda station in County Donegal. Gardaí say a vehicle has been seized in connection with the investigation and will be technically examined. The leaders of the three government parties will formally start talks on the budget this evening. Leo Varadkar, Micheál Martin and Eamon Ryan will begin to set out the coalition's budget priorities when they hold their weekly pre-cabinet meeting. The budget is due to be announced 2 weeks from tomorrow, but may now be overshadowed by major overspends in two government departments. Spending is already €1.2 billion over budget in the departments of health and children, which will eat into the amount of cash available for new measures when the budget is announced. A space capsule carrying NASA's first asteroid samples has touched down safely in the Utah desert after a 7-year journey. A spacecraft released the capsule containing the samples 63,000 miles above Earth, and 4 hours later the capsule parachuted successfully onto its target landing spot. It's hoped the samples, which were taken from the asteroid known as Bennu, will help scientists better understand how Earth and life were formed. They'll be taken to a new lab at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston today to be more closely examined. Scientists said it was a nervous wait.
We heard passing through 100,000 feet, passing through 60,000 feet, and I was getting a little worried, for sure. I knew things were supposed to be happening on a nominal timeline, that I wasn't getting call-outs, but again, we could have just had radio dropouts there. And then we heard main chute detected, and I literally broke into tears. I mean, and I'm probably going to do it right now just thinking about it, because that was the moment I knew we made it home. And, you know, I'm weary at this point. I've been thinking about this and focusing on it, and all of my energy and all of my will has gone into making this thing a success.
Ireland did not meet WHO air quality guidelines last year. According to a new report from the Environmental Protection Agency, air quality here is generally good, but there are concerning localised issues.
The burning of solid fuels in our homes and emissions from traffic. 2 reasons Ireland didn't meet World Health Organization guidelines on air quality for a number of pollutants last year. The Environmental Protection Agency found that air quality here in 2022 was generally good and did meet EU legal air quality limits, but says there are concerning localised issues. The agency says its monitoring at stations around the country recorded high levels of particulate matters from burning solid fuel, and nitrogen dioxide from traffic remain the main threats to our air quality. The EPA says there are an estimated 1,300 premature deaths in Ireland every year due to pollutants in the air, and says the enforcement of existing air quality plans and finding alternative ways to travel would have an immediate impact on the air we breathe. Marie Mulcahy, Virgin Media News.
Some very unsettled weather may be on the way in the coming days. Met Éireann says it's monitoring a low-pressure system which could bring stormy conditions and heavy rain from midweek. Our reporter Mairead Cleary has more.
After what was a very wet and windy weekend for many people across the country, we could be facing into even more stormy conditions this week. The UK Met Office has already published a warning for Wednesday and Thursday about a storm, and they're in communication with meteorologists here in Met Éireann. Met Éireann say they're keeping a close eye on the graphics. A belt of low pressure is making its way close to Ireland, which is expected to bring high winds, heavy rain and some stormy conditions on Wednesday, and they're closely monitoring the situation as it develops.
Mairead Cleary there. There's hope of a breakthrough in the Hollywood writers' strike. It's been announced that union leaders at Hollywood studios have reached a tentative agreement to end the strike after nearly 5 months. The breakthrough was made after 5 marathon days of talks, but it's far from back to business as usual in Hollywood, as no deal is yet in the works for striking actors. And finally for now, Usher has been confirmed as the headline act for this year's Super Bowl halftime show. The Grammy winner will take top billing at the show in Las Vegas next February. The artist, who is due to end a residency in Vegas in December, says headlining the show was always on his bucket list.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Well, Ger, isn't that the most beautiful sunrise here? We're live just along the banks of the River Liffey here in the heart of Dublin City Centre this morning. Of course, we're paying a visit to the Rock and Roll Museum in Temple Bar. So we're taking a trip down memory lane a little bit later on this morning. So that's all to come at 9:35. Now, we're getting past 7 o'clock here together. Let's pull back the net curtains on your Monday morning with Mark Armstrong with us on cameras. And following all that rain we had from many parts of the country yesterday, it's a lot drier, a lot more settled out there this morning now. We are seeing showers to top and tail Donegal, up around the Inishowen Peninsula, parts of Drumshambo there in Leitrim and Ballyhaunis in County Mayo, not escaping either, so keep the rain gear at the ready there. But elsewhere, pretty decent now in that south-southwesterly airflow. Now, right across this afternoon, in fact, we're looking at moderate to locally fresh, locally gusty as well, southwesterly winds. They'll be in the driving seat to take us right across the day, and we will see that mixture of sunshine and showers. Showers becoming isolated as the day goes on. Take a look at the map, really. The best of the bright spells, the best of those September rays through parts of eastern and southeastern regions. Top temps of around 15 to 18 degrees. And into tonight then, it'll kick off dry for a time. Then we're going to see that cloud cover build for those Atlantic coastal counties, bringing with it rain in from the west, spreading then across the country, and heavy at times too, to take us through tonight into your Tuesday morning. So that's how it's shaping up here. A beautiful sunrise in the heart of the capital at the moment. We'll be back again live at 7:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline: Ministers in budget clash on €1 billion health overspend. Ministers are set to clash today over a projected €1 billion overrun in the Department of Health, which has complicated Budget 2024 talks as they enter a crucial phase.
Price of 3-bed semi-home returns to Celtic Tiger peak. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The price of a 3-bedroom semi-detached home nationally has breached the €300,000 mark for the first time since 2007, as prices for homes outside the capital and major cities soar.
The Examiner's front page, Gardaí monitor group linked to IS. Garda security services are monitoring a small group of individuals in Ireland associated with Islamic State, an Islamic State offshoot that is causing growing concern across Europe over its violent intent.
The Mirror goes with man held as boy 9 killed in hit and run. 9-year-old Ronan Wilson, who was struck by a car in an alleged hit and run, was one of 4 to lose their lives in a weekend of carnage on Irish roads.
And the Sun leads with a similar story. Drivers held over death of Ronan 9. A man has been arrested and a car was seized over the incident. Ronan Wilson from County Tyrone was on holiday with his family in Donegal when the crash occurred.
The Star also covers this incident with boy killed in hit and run horror.
The Herald's front page, that day will live in my head for the rest of my life. The brother of a young mother, Jennifer Poole, who was stabbed to death by her ex-partner in 2021, has said he believes her murder was planned after she ended their relationship.
And finally, the squeezed middle must be protected as a top story on the Daily Mail. TDs have told Finance Minister to protect middle-class families earning approximately €62,000 who have been hit with increased household bills of up to €4,000 a year due to cost of living crisis and interest rate hikes.
We will be talking more about what's happening in the papers in just a little while, but Ireland did fairly well.
Front of a lot of the papers
weekend,
this morning as well.
They really are, from Leona Maguire as well. We've got to talk about Leona Maguire. We've got the women in the Aviva. And then small matter of the rugby team. And it was only a pool match, so we're going to be talking all about that.
Yes, joining us to discuss that, of course, is former Springbok legend Brian Habana is going to be here to talk. Well, we won't talk to him about the golf, maybe. We'll talk to him about the rugby. And a lot else. That's coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Now, most sports fans were on the edge of their seats over the weekend watching Ireland soar to victory against South Africa in what could be described as an intense World Cup match, only in the pools.
My voice is still not better. Here to discuss that nail-biting win and the rest of the weekend sporting actions, 42.ie's Gavin Cooney alongside sports journalist Daniel Hussey. And I'm delighted to say we're joined on Skype by former South African legend Brian Habana. Good morning to you, Brian, live from Disneyland. Brian, I do have to ask you, my voice is still struggling at the weekend. Ireland, of course, came out on top against South Africa, but it was a game for the ages, wasn't it?
I mean, scary to think, Tommy, that it was only a 13-8 scoreline, but the amount of energy, passion, exuberance in that stadium was literally off the charts. I think as a rugby lover, and I'm obviously devastated that it didn't go South Africa's way, but as a rugby lover, purist, that stadium was just incredible. The experience was, without a doubt, priceless, and gutted that we came out short, but hopefully a potential precursor to what could be a final.
OK, let's talk about that because, talk about an advertisement for the Rugby World Cup. It was so exciting, but it was only a pool game and already people are going, Ireland, South Africa in the final, that's going to be unbelievable. So South Africa, they're not going to take this to heart. They're ready to just get back into training and go and forge ahead, right?
Yeah, man, so they probably have a few days off like a lot of teams ahead of their last game against Tonga on the 1st of October. But they also reflected back on 2019 and having lost that first pool game against New Zealand to still go on to win the tournament back then. So it will definitely be a little blip in their radar, but their focus will without a doubt be preparing themselves to get back up and running and to a final. And I think there was so much good about this game. I think the physicality, the intensity, we didn't see any yellow or red cards, no bunker referrals. So Ben Keefe and his officiating team, just did everything right. And as a product for the game of rugby, to have ended that way was pretty spectacular.
And what a finish it was. We're just seeing here the celebrations as well. It just was absolutely epic, the atmosphere. It does mean that Ireland go on to play, well, hopefully, if they qualify, still have to beat Scotland, but will potentially face the All Blacks, which would mean France will have to face the home team, France. That is going to be, that's going to be a different level again in terms of atmosphere in the Stade de France.
It is going to be a different level. But with the unfortunate injury to Anton Dupont now, I'm not quite sure whether I'd rather take New Zealand or France in a quarterfinal, Tommy. Obviously, Anton, by far, very close to being the best player in the world currently, and a huge loss to the French team and the tournament, and really hoping that his injury recovers as quickly as possible. But South Africa will fancy their chances. Both France and Ireland last year in November, they pushed them both pretty close. So Yeah, that's what Rugby World Cup's about. You got to be on your best, and for the Irish team, they've now got 5 knockouts in a row to to try get into a Rugby World Cup final and do something historic.
I love that. You've got this little grin
He
still in the
does,
back of your
doesn't he?
head,
He does.
knowing that. Don't get ahead of yourself, guys. We do have to ask you quickly as well. There was a big match yesterday, and some might see it as an upset, some might not. But Australia, it looks like they're knocked out of the competition early doors, and Eddie Jones, that's going to be a long trip home for him.
It's going to be a long trip home. It has messed up my super picks for the weekend, unfortunately. I did have Australia to win, and that's actually put me down, I think, in the 7th place position out of 8 people at the moment. So very poor from Australia. I honestly believe they were on their way up, but you got to hand it to Warren Gatland and the Welsh side. The interplay backs and forwards was just phenomenal. And, for someone like Dan Biggett to go out early and Gareth Anscombe to pick up the points, and I think got 23 in the end, was absolutely brilliant. So, bitterly disappointing for Australian rugby. A lot of soul searching. I don't think just at team level. I think administratively, Australian rugby in general are really struggling, and they have been doing so for the last number of years. And, is there going to be a reshake up of everything being done, given the fact that Eddie Jones only came in 9 months ago? But pretty disappointing, Tommy.
It's now 23 minutes past 8 where you are. You got to get queuing. You're in Disneyland. Like, what is going on? He's got fast.
Remember, I first got to get breakfast. But yeah, definitely got to get queuing. The patrons are streaming past me at the moment.
Have you on the clock. Listen, Brian, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for that.
Brian.
Hopefully we'll catch up with you again in a few weeks.
Yes, team, go well.
Thanks a million, Brian. Cheers.
There you go. Great to have him on. We should move on to other sports as well quickly, and we're talking about the Irish match there, of course. We do have to mention Ireland women in the Aviva Stadium against Northern Ireland. Fantastic win for them as well. Gav.
Yeah, 50 years after our first women's international, they've put, 36,000 people into the Aviva Stadium. Hopefully that will remain their home from here on in. And it got up to a pretty auspicious start with a 3-0 win against Northern Ireland. Yeah. 2 goals from set pieces and 1 goal from a big larrup up the field. So maybe the style of play hasn't massively changed since Vera Pauw was in charge. But they win. And look, I'm being unfair there because Tyler Toland has been brought back in from the cold, having been ostracised under Vera Pauw, and she was player of the match. She was outstanding.
OK, and that's it. It's kind of drawing a line under it. I think this is what the players need, Daniel. They went, OK, we want to show the public what it is that we can do, and they did that first win in the
Exactly. You think of all the stuff they've had to deal with ever since qualifying for the World Cup, off the pitch through no fault of any of the players. Yeah. So for them to get that win, I really like what Gavin said in terms of the Aviva being their new home as best they can, because for whatever reason, even Tallaght Stadium, it might not sell out if they go to Tallaght Stadium, but if people know it's in the Aviva, they're more likely to go. That match-going bandwagoner would more likely to go. So I personally think, as best they can, any Ireland home games, they can get that in the Aviva for sure.
And it's fantastic to see that support.
Isn't it?
Like the negativity and the whole thing about Vera Pauw. But for Katie McCabe, she spoke during the week about, listen, can we just talk about the football here? Yeah. And for those girls, like, they've gone to the World Cup, they've lifted the hopes for so many young boys and girls. Yeah. Like, I just think it's so inspiring. You see the rugby guys, but the girls as well.
Yeah, and like even on such a busy weekend to get that crowd at the Aviva, to be honest. But like ever since, it's like obviously it feels like every week we're talking about songs in different contexts and different sporting contexts with the rugby or football. But they were like they were the first ones to almost have that controversy. But what they've done off the pitch and had to deal with off the pitch for the success they're having on, and they're just a team that the Irish public have taken to heart. And despite all the negativity post Vera Pauw about the sacking of player power and all this, I don't think that's in real life is reflected on what people are saying on social media. I think there's a vast majority out for support, and rightly so.
Yeah. Turned up in their droves.
They did, and if you were there, what you make of it, and getting behind the team again, 0896 111 111. There's lots of talking points from sport this weekend. The Solheim Cup, my God. Leona Maguire.
She's a killer at that level.
She's unbelievable.
Went out, I think it's the second singles match yesterday, and crushed Rose Zhang 3-2. I think won 3
4-3 the day before.
Won 3 points across the weekend. And what a comeback by Europe. I mean, lost 4-0 in the first session. You're thinking, oh God, is this going to be a washout? Battle back to ultimately tied at 14 apiece, but the rules of that competition means they retain. And they kind of headed off any kind of discourse as to what should you do? Should you celebrate a draw by immediately invading the 17th for England? They got it, and was just like, we're going to set the tone on this. And but like it does feel like a victory. Obviously, having been that far down, so early in the competition.
And we're just seeing there, Maguire's a driving force because, like, she's front of all the papers there with the flag. Yeah. They've spoken about how influential. There's something like, because the Ryder Cup is coming as well, and the Irish golfers, there's something, they just seem to love the team environment.
I agree with you there, yeah. Like, Leona made her name with the Solheim Cup a few years ago, and it seems like she's already now the ready-made player, like, and one of the best players in the world. And that's not an exaggeration to say, but then for her to just kick on and keep that Solheim Cup going. But you're right, maybe it is rose-tinted glasses from herself time, but it does feel every time you watch the Irish in match play, Ryder Cup, Solheim Cup, that they get it, like, they just get it straight away. We were talking in the green room there about Shane Lowry, and hopefully he's going to have a big week. I'm expecting a big week from him and Rory, just because of that match play element of it and the excitement and the team golf stuff. But brilliant occasion, and look, Leona's just continuing to go from strength to strength. Hopefully there's a major around the corner. She was like in contention, not just final rounds, fell away this year. There was one particular Sunday that she would have been disappointed with, but that's just the high standard she set to herself. But great win, or like I was reading the papers there, everyone was like, great win for Europe. I was there going, it was a draw. It wasn't a 14-0.
I know, but it just did feel so exciting them coming back. And from fashion stakes, Europe won as well. But you know, the fashion always matters. The Solheim Cup and the Ryder Cup.
I don't know, I love those shoes. Was it Lexi Thompson's?
Oh, her.
Yeah. They're quality.
She had like an American sort of shoes. Okay,
I was in a pub in Paris, so that's it. Didn't get to see the shoes.
We'd never have guessed.
Thank you, Gavin. Gavin Cooney from the 42.8.
Got a shirt there.
You look so fresh and sprightly this morning. And Daniel Hussey, sports journalist. Great to be both with us.
Thanks so much, guys. Welcome back. Time to find out what's going on in the news, and it's on the front page of the Irish Independent this morning. The price of a 3-bedroom semi-D home has returned to Celtic Tiger peaks. We love saying that sentence, as house prices outside the capital and major cities have soared.
Yeah, join us with that story is Lorcan Nine from the Communications Clinic, and of course to discuss other things in the paper as well, Lorcan. But this is where we're going to start. And back to Celtic Tiger figures. Doesn't seem like a huge surprise because all we hear is that it's climbing. But 300 grand for a semi-D.
Yeah, and look,
when the 3-bed semi-D.
When the supply isn't there, and we know that the prices are increasing, but I suppose it's been focused in Dublin up until now, or the worst of it's been in Dublin. The rate of increase in Dublin has slowed relatively considerably, while the rate of increase across the country now is far outstripping it. So it's 2% in the last quarter, but it's up 28% in the last 3 years. So the prices, so it's 300 grand now for your average semi-D. Like kind of back of envelope figures there, if you look at what that means for if you want to get a mortgage to be able to buy a semi-D, you need to be earning as an individual or household around 70 grand now to be able to get an average semi-D as the average across the country. Around that, totally back of envelope calculations, but if you go into mortgage calculator, that's in and around what you're looking for. That's as well as having the 30 grand deposit and being able to afford the repayment of 12 or 1,300 euro of the mortgage. Yeah. So I mean, it is significant. It's out of reach for a lot of people, and look, it's just another element of the housing crisis that we're seeing. We're seeing it spread across the entire country, and we're seeing it affect absolutely everyone.
And that's just, it is related to the Daily Mail, the headline on that. The squeezed middle must be protected, so people earning approximately 62,000 euro are the squeezed middle. They now can't afford to buy a 3-bed semi-D.
Yeah, so if that's the household income.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's at the average price. And then obviously, look, I mean, that's the average. I mean, if you're living in an urban area, it's going to be a little bit higher. Depending on the county you're in, it's going to be more again. So look, it is an issue. The extent of the issue is, I think, one that we all know. The solutions are a bit more difficult.
Who knows?
The solutions are a bit more difficult, and that's something that we're kind of talking about. I was listening to the group chat the other night, and they were talking about how this is going to be a landlord budget, and they were like, don't call it that, but how they're going to try to keep smaller landlords in the market, because this affects rental and also people who are trying to buy homes, who are trying to size up for their family, size down. It's all connected. There is a great, just to let you know, a good chart, if you're looking for it, a terrifying chart, actually.
What's
inside the info today.
The percentage of first-time buyers actually buying in the capital has dropped from 72% to 43%. And you see the likes of Kildare, Meath, these are the sort of areas that those prices are really shooting up.
Yeah, and look, it means that obviously people are being driven further and further out of the city, which obviously then means that, look, the city becomes a very, very different place. So, the city centres, I think Dublin and Galway in particular, become different places. There's not young families there. The young families have to move out. They have enough to move out further afield, which means obviously it becomes the city's just there's a different feel in the city if you don't have young families able to buy there and live there.
Yeah.
And look, when you're looking at then the solutions to it, Seamus Coffey, who used to be the chair of the Irish Fiscal Advisory Council, but was writing about it and saying basically part of the solution or part of the problem is that we just don't have the people to build the houses, we don't have the people to actually increase the supply because we have full employment, and that part of the solution is being brave enough to say we have to stop building everything else bar houses. So we have to stop building anything to do with anything at all and let those problems get worse. And we need all of the other building as well and just build houses. But that means things like retrofitting would need to stop. But then obviously we need things like retrofitting because of air quality, which is another story in the papers today. Well, so it's just, look, you need to make tough choices to deal with this, but until we do, the housing crisis is going to continue to be as bad as it was.
Well, talk to us about that air story. It's at the front of the Times this morning. Yeah,
so it's the headline or the idea from it is that the air pollution levels aren't as good as they could possibly be, which is leading to premature deaths every year of over about 1,000 people. So that sounds quite stark. Now, the best way of looking at these sometimes is to compare us to how are we doing compared to our European colleagues, all right? Okay. And we're actually doing quite well because everybody is doing really, really badly. All right. So compared to the rest of Europe, we're actually pretty okay. We're actually passing all the EU standards. Every single EU standard there is on air quality, we are passing, we are doing well. What has happened is the WHO have looked at it, re-looked at the science and said the EU targets are not where they need to be. Okay. This is actually much more damaging. The pollutants that come from burning fuel, the coal, dry wood, are much worse for your health than we previously thought. So the standards need to change. But now that the standards have changed, something like 98% of Europe are below the standards at some stage every year.
Right. It's taken more than chatting about an Ireland AM to fix this problem. 0896 111 111 to let us know about the cost of homes. We'd love to hear you on that and how you're doing, what you're doing, if you're still living with your parents, all that kind of stuff. But let's move on to pub staff have been told to stop use certain phrases. What's this about?
Yeah, this is training that has been rolled out to pubs in the UK and further afield for kind of alcohol awareness, etc. And they've been told to stop using phrases like, will you have the same again, or is that a double? And instead you're supposed to say, well, what would you like to have next, or would you like a large or a small? So basically they're supposed to stop pushing drink on people. It's what these phrases are saying.
It's funny, when I was in France at the weekend and they're asking for a beer, they kind of go, un demi or a grand. Do you mean, like, you don't get asked for a half pint in Ireland, do you?
No, I think you get an old raised eyebrow and a bit of silence, I think, unfortunately. But look, obviously, look, the intention behind this is good. I don't think people do ask you, is that a double anymore?
No, but I've never heard anyone saying is that
I have, like, on Coronation Street, kind of, like, it gets in, like, I don't think it's actually a thing.
But they definitely say same again. Yeah. Do you same again? Yeah, please. Like, and the double. No,
is there
don't say that.
Is there a phrase that kind of, I remember I got an email there, you know, the one that's, can we circle back to that matter? Do you know those sort of really annoying phrases? Same again is quite a nice phrase, I would personally
So I love this. For example, instead of saying same again, you say, what would you like this time? What would you like this time? Can't read. And don't say, do you want a large? Would you like a small or a large measure? So there you go. The French maybe have it right.
0896 111 111 to let us know annoying phrases. Doesn't have to have anything to do with drink if you don't want to know. The emails that make you want to go stop saying that. Lorcan 9 from the Communications Clinic. It has been a pleasure having you here this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lorcan.
Alan is over on the couch. What's coming up next?
Well, in the UK, it's always, is that a double? You'll get it in the UK all the time. Seriously. You do,
yeah, but
you
not
do.
in Ireland.
Not in Ireland, no, not as much. No. Now, coming up after the break, we're chatting Elon Musk's latest venture in brain technology and the reason the iPhone 12 sales have been banned in France. Stay tuned for Tech Talk after the break.
Welcome back now from controversial social platforms to the latest from Elon Musk. Good morning, everybody. We discuss the tech stories that have everyone's heads turning.
Yeah, and joining us with the lowdown is tech expert Elaine Burke. Good morning to you, Elaine. We are going to start with the iPhone 15 has just hit the market, but France have banned the iPhone 12. Why?
It basically failed irradiation tests that they conducted, and it was kind of like a surprise test. So their agency representatives can just go to a store, commandeer some phones and initiate some testing on them. So the iPhone 12 has been out for a number of years now.
Lots of people have it.
It's now discontinued by Apple because they're 3 generations down the line with their phones as well. So it's been late stage testing, and testing would have been conducted at production stage by an independent company that Apple would have worked with on the development of the phone. But the French testing isn't consistent across different agencies. So their test in a certain version of it said that the radiation levels were too high. They were above what is acceptable in France. And a software update can fix that, and Apple's going to issue a software update, and then the sales will return. And it's kind of this standards and practices system working, essentially, is what we're witnessing here.
But it's kind of back to those days of don't put your phone in your pocket if you're a man, because it's going to affect your levels, and don't sleep with it by your head. Like, this was what it used to be like when phones first came out.
Well, essentially, yeah. So what it is that the antenna in the phone, the thing that helps you make calls, send texts, and connect to the internet and connect to Bluetooth, that does emit radiation. But we have to remember as well, like, a bit of science education here, light is also a form of radiation. We are exposed to radiation levels all the time, and this is a form called radio frequency, which even your radio signals, to get your broadcast radio out there, is a form of radiation.
So does this mean that France is just a bit more stringent on this than other countries, and that's why they've banned it?
Their tests actually aren't as stringent as some other tests. It just so happens that in this case, the test proved that...
So anyone who has that phone then should get this new little software update, and then it's done?
The software update will be issued automatically to any iPhone 12 user once it's available. I'm sure that'll be pretty soon. And then it just means that the antenna in the phone won't go into too intensive seeking of a signal, because what happens is your phone might overheat when you're in like a remote location with bad signal. It's because your antenna is kind of working overtime to try and find it.
Try to find that. Okay, so that is iPhone 12. Don't freak out, it should be okay. There will be a software update coming out soon. Rumble, let's get ready to rumble. There's a lot of people chatting about this. This is a brand new, it's not brand new, but there's a social media platform that a lot of really nice individuals are talking about.
Yeah, I think it's actually been around about 10 years, but it surged in popularity in 2020, specifically after Donald Trump's loss in the US election. It went from like 2 million to 20 million users very quickly then, and it's currently at around 78 million users. And it hosts some unsavory characters, to say the nicest things about them. I mean, Alex Jones, who was banned from virtually every other platform in existence, is on Rumble. He famously denies that the Sandy Hook shooting was legitimate and thinks it was a staged event. Andrew Tate, the noted misogynist, also has a platform on Rumble, and Russell Brand is doing well
there. New members.
Well, this weekend he urged people to go and seek him out on Rumble. Yes.
Because it says Rumble prides itself on opposing censorship and cancel culture. It prides itself on that.
Yeah, well, I'd say what it does is it has identified a market. It's a business at the end of the day, and there is a market for these content creators. They get shoved off of other platforms because when you get a platform like YouTube or something like that, and not to debate the ethics of YouTube, but essentially these creators can become a threat to YouTube's biggest bottom line, which is advertisers who don't want to be alongside certain kinds of content.
Well, if certain people are saying certain things that are just off the charts, you just can't let that happen.
But there is an audience for it, and there's people who just want to make money.
Oh, yeah, that's why they go to Rumble.
So that's why you get platforms like Rumble. Now, they do say there's certain things they won't allow. Adult content is not allowed. Racism is not allowed. Anti-Semitism is not allowed, they've said. But things like QAnon conspiracy... Yeah. Okay. QAnon conspiracy theorists, anti-vax misinformation. It's very easy to find that kind of stuff on these platforms.
Would you find that that's worrying then, that this is suddenly getting all these people watching this?
I think essentially what we have is a case where people create platforms to connect people, and they have that virtuous goal with them, and they forget that some people will connect that have bad ideas, and those ideas will be able to foment other platforms. And most platforms that are mainstream try to dispense with that idea and don't even really acknowledge it in their press.
It's a bigger conversation about why there are so many people who are disenchanted with what's actually happening in the world. Anyway, that's one thing. Let's move on very quickly. Elon Musk, a fella that people really like and has divided opinion. I can see people lining up for this who love him. He's got a brain chip. He can put it in your head. He's got permission to start human trials?
Yeah, so actually he got the permission to start human trials from the FDA back in May, I think it was, but now an independent review board at an institution has given them the go-ahead to start actually recruiting participants for this trial. Now, it's really important to say Elon Musk may be the figurehead for a lot of companies, but he's not exactly going to be the scientist doing the research or implanting brains into people's heads or anything like that.
But what does the chip do?
Well, yeah.
So this is about creating what's called brain-computer interface, and Neuralink, which is the company we're talking about, is not the only company involved.
Like, don't be like, it could have some benefits.
But what
because let the girl talk.
I didn't say anything.
So the idea is that
literally didn't say anything.
A chip implanted in the brain, and in some companies they don't actually implant the chip in the brain, they might place it near to the brain, can detect signals from the brain and use that to create a brain-computer interface. So basically your brain, without any physical signal from you, can interface with a computer system. And that would mean that someone with paralysis might be able to communicate with someone through thinking.
Oh, wow. So say if you had locked-in syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that would be a use case. Now, Elon Musk, again, being bombastic about this stuff, has said it might be able to treat obesity and schizophrenia and depression and autism and just like making wild claims about this. But one of the key use cases that have been proposed for this was for people with paralysis to be able to interface with computers and be able to communicate with people.
And is it just because it's him that we're all sort of going, oh, this might be bad?
Well, I suppose it's the ethics of what it is.
Yeah, there's this, and you know, that's the thing about human trials and stuff like that. This isn't Elon Musk gets to do whatever he wants. These things are very, very strictly overseen. There'll be strict reviews in place. But it is, biohacking in general is a bit of a squeamish area. And also this area involves a lot of animal testing. And a lot of animals have been reportedly treated very poorly in Neuralink trials.
There's a lot
and that's a whole issue as well.
Yeah, it's the ethics of all these things. For Tech's Sake is, of course, the podcast. Elaine Burke, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll be back with you on Ireland AM very shortly. Time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. Its headline: Ministers in budget clash on €1 billion health overspend. Ministers are set to clash today over a projected €1 billion overrun in the Department of Health, which has complicated Budget 2024 talks as they enter a crucial phase.
Price of three-bed semi-home returns to Celtic Tiger peak. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The price of a three-bedroom semi-detached home nationally has breached the €300,000 mark for the first time since 2007, as prices for homes outside the capital and major cities soar.
The Examiner's front page: Gardaí monitor group linked to IS. Garda Security Services are monitoring a small group of individuals in Ireland associated with an Islamic State offshoot that is causing growing concern across Europe over its violent intent.
The Mirror goes with man held as boy 9 killed in hit and run. 9-year-old Ronan Wilson was struck by a car in an alleged hit and run, was one of 4 to lose their lives in a weekend of carnage on the roads.
And the Sun leads with a similar story. Driver is held over death of Ronan 9. A man has been arrested and a car was seized over the incident. Ronan Wilson from County Tyrone was on holiday with his family in Donegal when the crash occurred.
Star also covers this incident with boy killed in hit and run horror.
The Herald's front page: That day will live in my head for the rest of my life. The brother of young mother Jennifer Poole, who was stabbed to death by her ex-partner in 2021, has said he believes her murder was planned after she ended their relationship.
And finally, the squeezed middle must be protected is the top story on the Daily Mail. TDs have told the Finance Minister to protect middle-class families earning approximately €62,000 who have been hit with increased household bills of up to €4,000 a year due to the cost of living crisis and, of course, interest rates. Alan, going back to the Irish Independent there, a lot of texts coming in off the house prices and how we're back beyond Celtic Tiger levels.
A lot of papers saying the average house price index, which concentrates recent actual sale prices, achieved for Ireland, which has gone up so much. And Joe said an apartment complex near me, there's so many of these new complexes going up that are rent only. Have you noticed that?
It's buy to rent everywhere around me. It's
only buy to let. I've noticed that where I live as well. And a one bedroom is $1,750 per month, one bedroom, and a two bedroom is $2,150. How can any young people afford these prices?
And this is where they start. It slowly starts creeping up because it started like that in one just up the road from me, and by the end of it was $3,500 for a two bedroom.
No, none of the apartment blocks that are being built around me are for sale. No, they're all for rent, all to let.
Valerie just said it. I recently came across a two bedroom end of terrace house in Kildare, €435,000. Young people have no hope of securing a home What's wrong with Kildare, Al? I feel so very, very sorry for them. We're also... Listen, I'm just saying. He's like,
I just went Kildare.
I know, but Irene said myself and my husband have been looking to buy a house for nearly 2 years now with no luck. We keep finding ourselves being outbid. We were hoping to buy in Dublin because that's where we both work. But I think we're going to have to cast the nest further afield, and that's what it shows. It shows that all the areas and commuter places around Cork, Dublin, Galway, they're all getting more expensive because people are having to move there.
Yes, you know, it is frightening to think that it's going back to that level again. But listen, thank you for sending in your text. We've actually a huge amount more to try and get through.
Especially the phrases that annoy you.
Yes, we're getting to the phrases that annoy you in just a while. But now Ireland AM are getting cosy with Harry. So here's a question.
Who's Harry?
Let's find out. Do you have a conservatory that needs some TLC? Well, here's your chance to win a fantastic prize. Now, there we go. That's Harry.
It's Harry
How
Curry.
does a Harry Curry home interiors makeover and a brand new cosy roof sound to you?
Yes, we're giving you the chance to decorate the space with a €6,000 Harry Curry voucher to make it your own, along with converting your conservatory into a perfect living space.
Can we apply? Now, to be in with a chance of winning this great prize, just submit your pictures to of your conservatory and why it deserves some much-needed TLC to irelandam.comp@virginmedia.ie.
And I think we do have a few pictures coming in here as well
already.
But we're still watching this nice one. Isn't that a nice drone shot coming in over the top? Lovely,
there you go.
cozy.
You've been sending in the pictures of your conservatory. Let's have a look at some of them that have been coming in. There's the... What's here now?
So I think these are ones that need to be, that want to get renovated.
Want to get renovated, yeah, okay.
So, right, okay, let's go on to the next one then.
Oh, that looks lads, we were just talking about house prices. I'll move in there. My God, that's lovely.
You don't need
There you go.
Look at that. Oh, a little dog looking out the window. So
here, look at the
there
dog.
we go.
Yeah. But so the idea is like makeover that, £6,000 makeover.
Keep sending in your pictures, please, for a chance to win that voucher from Harry Curry. All the very best of luck with that. Now, coming up next, we're going to be talking things all safer sex, from contraception to STI testing.
See you back here after the break.
Good morning, you're very welcome back now. We are talking sex education now, so it might not be suitable if there are little ears in the living room, kitchen, whatever else where you're watching it. You might want to maybe turn it on mute, but if not, listen in.
It might be very suitable for teenagers and things like that, with the latest season of Sex Education hitting our screens very soon. We're joined by Dr. Caoimhe Hartley and sex and relationship columnist Ro McDermott to get some advice on the physical and emotional sides to sex. But first, are we using it as an excuse to take a clip from the latest season of Sex Education?
Wow. Well, this is different.
Call in and tell me your problems.
There is another sex therapist on campus.
Otis. Oh, what is it? It's boobs.
Boobs. I love that show so much, and it is actually quite brilliant and educational. It's so lovely to have you here, Ro and Caoimhe. We have to talk about what's going on in Ireland, and this is something that we see it all the time, but we didn't expect it. Overall STI rates from 2019 to 2022 have increased. Gonorrhea rates have increased by 45%, chlamydia by 20%. So let's talk about STI infections and telltale signs, and if people are at home and are worried now, because you might want to ignore this.
Yes, there's loads of different types of STD, loads of different organisms and bugs that can cause them. You've mentioned chlamydia, gonorrhea. There's actually the rates of gonorrhea are really going through the roof, which is a bit frightening. So, you know, you could go through each individual infection and say, like, what are the different symptoms and signs of each one? But the broad kind of red flags to look out for. So we tell men to watch out for discharge from the penis. Men might have pain in their testicles, in one or both testicles. Women can have vaginal discharge. That's something to look out for. They might have bleeding, so women who report bleeding after sex or in between their periods, or painful sex, or pelvic pain, that's new. And some women and men can have, you can have systemic symptoms, so you can have a fever, you can feel generally unwell if you pick up an infection. And then if there's something like human papillomavirus, which is what causes genital warts, or herpes simplex virus, you can see ulceration or little fleshy lesions around the genital area. So they're all things that need to be checked.
Okay. Because there's definitely a bit of a shame or a stigma around STIs, and people won't really be talking about it, but it is how important to go and get checked. And programs like sex education and other programs we're seeing nowadays, like the conversation is opening up a lot more, Ro.
Yeah, and I think it's so important because I think we treat STIs like we don't treat any other disease or infection. Like we've all been through COVID. We know that picking bugs up is a part of life. It's a part of contact with other humans. And the shame and the silence around STIs stops people from getting themselves tested, from talking about it with their partner. But thankfully, I think that we're having more and more conversations about sex generally and sexual safety and getting rid of some of that shame, which hopefully means that people are taking more precautions about their own health and just looking after themselves a bit more. And getting rid of that shame, which again might stop people from, if they pick something up, contacting a partner and saying, hey, this has happened, unfortunate, not ideal for everybody, but it's not a big deal, just go get yourself tested.
And it is that sort of chatting, like even when you're younger and, you know, someone would be going in trying to buy condoms and it would become a really big deal and it was like something that you'd laugh at and you'd be like, head down, you can't do anything like that. But it's become a thing that you can do in your own home, Caoimhe. STI testing kits, home testing kits?
Home testing kits. Now, some of the increased rates that we see might be because, you know, we've really good contraceptive options now. So potentially people are using fewer condoms, which is not a good thing, because contraception won't stop you from picking up an STD, but condoms will.
Yeah.
And the home STI kits, maybe we're diagnosing it more. Like maybe we're picking up more infection.
Okay, so
because
before
of
you
better
mightn't have gone to a clinic, whereas now you're going to know what, I don't know if there's something wrong here, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah. So I've brought in a couple of examples of the STI kits that you can order at home.
Okay.
So it's really straightforward. You go to the HSE website or you can go to sh24.ie.
Let me hold one up here.
So basically what they'll ask you to do, you fill out a questionnaire, it asks some details about yourself and about your sexual relationships. And based on that, then you get an envelope that's delivered unmarked to your house. So it doesn't have like a big glaring, you know, this is an STD kit landing in your post box, which is good. And then
the postman's there for a chat then. Exactly. All right.
Very interested in what you're up to, yeah. And then it comes with really good instructions for how to use it. And there's actually really good informational videos online as well showing you how to use them.
So what is this?
Yeah, so depending on how you fill out your questionnaire, basically they decide what kind of testing you're going to need. For men, it's often it's a urine test. Now, you don't pee for 2 hours before you do the test. You do your urine sample and you pop that back.
Hold like which one's which then, kind of, or what?
So this is your bottle for your urine test.
Okay.
That's there.
Right, okay.
Right here.
Yeah, okay. And so really straightforward. I mean, all you have to do is pee. Like, you know, how much easier can it be?
Sure, I'm sure we can do it. Listen, this is for men, yeah. Simpler the better, thank you.
And then there's a blood test.
Okay.
Okay, so we do this by doing what's called a finger prick sample.
Okay.
So people might be familiar with how, you know, people with diabetes check their blood sugar, and it's something akin to that. It's very similar to that. And that's popped into the vial here. You close up your vial. You pop it back into your envelope. It comes with a stamped addressed envelope and you send that back to them.
That's brilliant.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Women have one extra layer of complications. So for women, they might have to do a vaginal swab, which is this guy, little cotton-tipped swab. That's inserted in the vagina, into the tube here. And then the same thing, back in your envelope and posted back to the guys.
I didn't see a speculum, I just got very happy there. I was like, oh my God, thank God.
An at-home speculum would be kind of challenging.
It would be very, very challenging. No one wants to see that.
So it's really straightforward.
That's kind of amazing to see how far we've come, that people can do this and the HSE are providing this. But of course, when you're going through this, Ro, there's an emotional aspect to all of this, isn't there? To kind of go, okay, so our sex education, certainly mine was non-existent, it was really crap, we're getting better. So we have to talk about the emotional side of these things as well, don't we?
Yeah, because I think thankfully, not speedily enough, but we are talking more about risks and the biology of sex and stuff like STIs and pregnancy risks. But like everything in life, like going into a relationship, there are risks. You know, nobody wants to get their heart broken, they don't want to get dumped, but there are risks inherent in everything. And there are emotional risks with sex. And it's not about avoiding every negative situation, but it's about taking account of where you are, what risks you might be encountering, mitigating them, and hoping for the best outcome and trying to create the best outcome for yourself. And this can come in a lot of ways. So it can be, for people, particularly their first sexual experiences or when they're first exploring, looking at the situation and looking at the potential partner and going, is this a safe situation? So that might mean not having sex with someone to try make them like you or to try get a relationship. Sex should be a bonus to whatever relationship you have, and you should already be very sure that this person likes you, respects you, that you can trust them. Might mean not getting with someone who's already in a relationship, not going after someone your best friend has had a crush on for 4 years without having a chat, maybe.
These things happen.
These things happen, right? And it's about taking care of yourself. But then, even if you found someone and you're really excited about exploring something with them, asking yourselves questions of going, what do we want this experience to mean to each other emotionally?
Yeah.
How do we want to feel afterwards? And then saying, you know, we might really be excited about exploring things together. Do we want to do it at this time and place? You might be really excited about having your first sexual experience with someone, but the situation might arise and it's a house party and everybody's waiting outside and you won't have time to chat afterwards, and going, is this the right time and place? And saying, how are we going to talk about this afterwards? How do we want to feel? And I think a really important question is, how would I like to feel afterwards ideally? How would my partner like to feel? And how can we create a situation where those are aligning? And we're
Think about it,
situation.
communicate with it, and of course consent is a massive, big thing on this
issue.
as well. Let's talk about yes, contraception. Because you were talking about condoms, obviously they're the best if you want to try and keep away from STIs, but more and more people were talking about the pill. You have, is that a coil? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yes. What's the other thing? Like, what have you...
Yeah, so I've only brought in a sample. There's actually more contraceptive options than what we even have on the table here. So we'll start with the pill. So you can have the combined oral contraceptive pill, the progestogen-only pill, also called the mini pill. And so these are really easy to take. They're short-term contraception. You can take them, you can start them, you can stop them, depending on what suits you.
Okay.
Condoms, obviously, really important and the best way to prevent STDs. This other guy in the box over here, that's an Evra patch. So that's worn and changed every week, worn on your lower back, your bum, your shoulder or your back. That's right.
And that releases.
So that has 2 hormones in it. It's combined hormonal contraception. It contains estrogen and progesterone, and these all will stop and prevent ovulation, which is part of how they stop you becoming pregnant. These 2 lovely things. So this in your left hand, Marin, is a coil.
Yes, this is the coil.
So there's different types of coil. There's small little T-shaped devices. So if you pull down, see the grey thing in the middle?
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Pull that down. It
locked
pops out.
and loaded, baby.
So yeah, exactly. Little T-shaped device. You can have a copper coil, which contains no hormones. The downside of the copper coils, they actually make your periods a little bit heavier, which a lot of women don't love.
Yes.
This is a hormonal coil, and again, there's different types of them, and they last anything from 3 to 8 years once they're inserted. They're inserted into the womb, usually by your GP or a well women's clinic.
Yeah, okay.
Quickly, what's this one here?
This is my new, it's not my Nuva ring, this is a Nuva ring.
It's been washed.
And so this is, again, combined hormonal contraception. It contains 2 hormones. If you squeeze it in the middle, it can make almost like a figure of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, really straightforward. It's really bendy, easy to use. Insert it into the vaginal canal. You leave it there for 3 weeks, and you take it out for a week.
3 weeks. And take it out for a week?
Yeah, so you leave it in, like, it's once a month. So
and this is something that women can do themselves?
Yeah, at home. Yeah, really easy.
And this is what's so important, that there are the at-home testing kits, but it's so important if you're interested, or if you're young and think about this, go talk to your GP, because it is something that we all really need to think about. Dr. Caoimhe Hartley, GP menopause and women's health expert, brilliant to have you with us, and Ro McDermott, sex and relationship columnist. Thanks so much. Both.
Coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
He has it demolished already. We're having a pizza party in the studio this morning.
And we sure do. There's no one better to sort us out than the exceptional Erin Bunting. Good morning to you, Erin.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Delish.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. So yeah, we're going to make a soda bread pizza this morning. So basically, we have a kind of a big history in Ireland of kind of these kind of quick breads, which are made with like a soft flour rather than a strong flour, and we use bicarbonate soda and buttermilk to create the rise. And we're going to like basically use that really kind of simple technique in order to make a pizza that you could whip up. I mean, it takes about half an hour baking in the oven, but you can whip it up in a few minutes and like make a great dinner for people. So we're going to start by just I'm going to caramelize some onions to go on top. I've got some ready to go for this one.
Delicious.
But just so we can.
Oh wow, the cheese on it as well.
So we've got a bit of oil going here, and I'm just going to put a bit of sliced red onion as well. And basically, I just always think caramelizing onion, it's like a really great thing you could do. You know, if you're faffing around in the kitchen and you know, waiting on something cooking or stirring something, you know, chop a few onions up.
Onions. If you're waiting around to do it. Just
chop a few onions up. Always.
In general, chop a few onions.
Onion always adds flavour. And caramelised onions are so good. And I'm just going to pop them in there. And you just cook them on a low heat, medium to low heat, for about like 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
Put a wee pinch of salt in with them. And then just towards the end, You can put in a wee bit of sugar or a wee bit of balsamic vinegar and just cook that on for another 5 minutes. And then you end up with something that looks like this. So this is red onions. You can do it with white onions as well.
And it's sugar would be lovely.
Adds loads of flavour. Loads of flavour. It's great on a pizza topping.
Okay.
So we're going to let that cook away there.
Then you go get the bread.
And we're going to make the bread.
Wow.
We're going to make the bread in this segment.
Let's go.
So we've got some plain flour here, about 500 grams of plain flour. I'm going to put in a teaspoon, a scant teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, which is what's causing
It's the rise.
basically. I'm just going to sift that in. Put in about a teaspoon of salt. Mix all that together. And I've got some chopped sage, but you can put all sorts of herbs in, or don't bother if you don't want to. I've got some chopped sage. Rosemary works really well in here as well. Mix that all together, and then we're just going to make a wee well in the centre, and we're going to pour in the buttermilk.
Now,
buttermilk, yeah.
You don't have a mixer. Are you going to do this by hand?
I'm going to do it by hand.
Can you use a mixer?
Actually, I would recommend for this to not use a mixer because when you're making a quick bread like this, you're trying to knead it as little as possible. It's like making a scone or something like that. So you're trying to make.
You're just doing it with your hand there.
Yeah. You want to a nice wide open hand, a claw hand. When I was taught to make this at cookery school.
Look at that coming together already.
You would say a claw hand. And so I wouldn't put in all the buttermilk. I've got about 450 mils of buttermilk. I wouldn't put it all in straight away.
And do it little by little, because if you put in too much at the start, it's gone.
It gets a bit sticky, and then you're
struggling.
Well, yeah, then you have to add more flour and then it all
then
gets
you're
a bit.
starting nearly from scratch again.
So how long are you talking? Obviously in TV time we don't really have much time. So how long would this normally take, this kind of kneading process?
It doesn't take, this is as long as it takes.
Really?
So you don't need to knead. When you're making a quick bread, you're not kneading because you're not developing the gluten. You're relying on the rise happening by the reaction between the bicarbonate of soda and the acid in the buttermilk.
That's really
And that is... and actually, it's really interesting, the history of why we have these type of breads here in Ireland, because bicarbonate of soda was invented in the early 1800s. And, it's a real kind of thing in Ireland that we have a lot of these. And it's because of the famine, actually. So because we were, after the famine, people had so little, the population was so decimated, people just didn't have the time. And lots of people were still living in rural cottages where they didn't have ovens and that type of thing. They didn't have the time or the facilities to be making bread on with yeast, and it was hard to get hold of yeast as well. So
this is where, and it's
Joanne,
tastes so gorgeous.
You throw it in there, and you need to clean your hands, I think.
Yeah, so I'm going to put. Can you press it out a wee bit?
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Not your hands, Tommy.
Well,
are they clean? Have you washed them?
Oh yeah. Should have washed them first, shouldn't I? But
no, it's fine.
I would just give it to Alan.
We won't.
Well, we're going to put it in the oven.
We won't be eating this one.
So what am I doing? And then just stick that into the oven.
Well, let's press it out a wee bit further. So yeah, then you just give your hands a wee wash.
Like
so you've
really
got a bit of
flatten it out.
Yeah, so we're going to make it flat, like the way we've done for the other one, and then we're just going to. I feel like maybe I'm going to do that.
So what vegetables are you putting onto it there?
So and then once
you need the palm of the hand.
Yeah, well, palm of the hand, and I've made my hands a wee bit damp, which obviously helps as well. You're going to push it out, and then we're going to put on some. I've just got some grated cheddar to give it a kind of initial flavour.
Yeah.
So we're going to put some grated cheddar on. We're going to put some caramelised onion on. Sprinkle that over the top.
And as you were saying earlier on, this is a way of getting stuff into maybe children that they wouldn't normally eat, because you're saying it's pizza time.
Yeah. Well, this recipe, which is sometimes called paddy pizza as well, which
Paddy pizza.
Paddy pizza because it's an Irish style pizza.
And then what else are you putting in?
So we're going to put some roasted butternut squash. So I just roasted some squash off yesterday. Any leftover roasted vegetables you have, or bits and pieces work really well. My nanny would have made this for me, and she would have just done it with tomato sauce and cheddar.
There's one in the oven there as well.
It's there.
I can't wait. It's absolutely delicious with the cheese
and then
everything.
I'm going to put this really amazing raw milk blue cheese, Stilton style blue cheese, made up in County Down.
The oven for?
And it goes into the oven at 200 for about 15 minutes, and then I turn it down to 180 and do another 15, and then it'll be.
And there it is. There, your finished product. We just took it out of the oven before you came on air there, and we've been having a slice of it, and it is absolutely delicious. If you can see it there in front of her, there you go. It looks, and you're just putting a little bit.
I'm just going to put. I would usually put a few wee sage leaves on top as well, just to kind of add that nice flavour, and then you can put a wee bit of olive oil over the top, and then just whack it in the oven, half an hour, and then it serves.
Done.
Really nice.
Beautiful.
Erin Bunting, delicious. I'm going to
Thank you so much.
all of that.
He still is. Now, still to come, we're catching up with Derek as he pays tribute to some of our rock and roll royalty.
All coming up after the break.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
We'll come back at the wrong time.
We're all like...
Erin Bunting's pizza. Beautiful.
Unbelievable. If you have the time to make that today, please do make it. It is so good. Now, earlier on, we were talking about phrases that annoyed you. This is off the back of a thing in England where they're asking people not to say same again if they work in a pub.
Or double.
Not encourage drinking.
Now, in the UK, they always say to you, if you go up and you ask for a vodka, they always say double. And you go, no, single.
Do they?
Yes. And pubs I've been to UK.
Do you feel a bit sad whenever you kind of go, no, just a
single?
Actually,
yeah, but it's nearly forcing you to have a double, which is not good.
We asked
Karen,
what sayings really drive you mad?
Karen says, call for last drinks. I know, but but you know when they do it in the pub, closing now, closing now. You literally are, they just keep shouting at you.
In Limerick, it's, you're right there, folks, please.
Yeah, all right now, last orders now.
Right there, folks, please.
Margaret said, when I was single, the one phrase that really annoyed me was, what's for you won't pass you. That's annoying,
That's a real Irish
When that's said to you, you're like, oh, and you're talking
Are you still single? I am, yeah. Well,
or if you broke up with somebody and then you sort of, well, now, sure, like, you know, he was... You know, I love all that. Real Irish thing. You'd be grand. I hate the saying, it's not rocket science.
OK, well, speaking of rocket science...
Send in more. 0896 111 111. We're going to go over. We believe he has, and Derek is exploring the Irish Rock and Roll Museum. He is in Temple Bar in Dublin this morning.
Take it away, Derek.
Yes, good morning, team, and welcome down here to the Rock and Roll Museum. Yeah, we're living it up here in Temple Bar this morning, Brian Smith. But good morning to you, Brian.
Good morning to you. How are you keeping?
Brian, this is a little gem right in the heart of Temple Bar, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's fantastic to have this in the middle of the city. People walk around here all the time and don't know. Here we are under the ground and all this around us. Quite amazing.
Now, tell us about the setup itself. We've been on a tour over the last hour or so. First up, let's take us up to that hall where you're beginning, in fact, to create that Sinead O'Connor exhibition.
Yeah, we are, of course... the passing of Sinead recently has highlighted her career more than ever. So we're in the process of putting some things together, and if anybody out there has something that belongs to Sinead, we'll quite happily put it in our exhibition here. But yeah, so we're going to building that up as it moves on. So we take things all the time from everywhere, whatever we can get our hands on. And as I say, if there is something out there, we'd gladly
send it your way. A huge loss to Irish music.
Massive loss. And it's so sad, really, you know, because she was still very young. And an album coming out, which she recorded in our studio as well. So
yeah, you were telling me she spent a good bit of time here, in fact, did she?
She did, yeah. Like, Sinead was around Dublin a lot, you know, but she just recently she was down in Grouse Lodge, which is our other studio. And her recording is done and the album will be out shortly, which is sad because normally people are around when the record comes out to promote it. So it's, yeah, it's sad.
The Thin Lizzy studio above, it's incredible. It's great, really good.
That is our piece de resistance. That really is amazing. We've got Phil's guitars and we've got his jukebox. My personal favourite is the jukebox for me because it's got all his songs in his jukebox and his own handwriting on it as well, and of course his guitars as well, and lots of little things. I've seen grown men shed a tear in that room. You know, that's very nostalgic.
And his mum Philomena has been very good to the museum as well.
She has indeed. Yeah, everything we have over there has come from herself. And so it's all completely genuine. It's the real thing. And as I said to you a second ago, people do come in and see things, especially the guitars, and you know, people get a little bit emotional, which is nice. That's what music is about.
Brian, some of the albums here we've got on the wall, what are we talking?
Well, let's go down, let's have a look. Van Morrison, of course. These are all great Irish artists.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how many you've seen live yourself. Van Morrison, Rory Gallagher, of course. Ireland's greatest rock band. No, I know Bono wouldn't mind me saying that.
Fox. That was 1976, right?
Yeah, Thin Lizzy. Gary Moore, of course, the guitar player from Thin Lizzy. Bob Geldof and the Boomtown Rats, of course, another fantastic Dublin band. And then from Limerick, we've got the Cranberries as well. And we've just been speaking about Sinead. it's sad as well that we lost Dolores as well. Two great female artists and both gone far too early. And there, of course, is Sinead.
Sinead O'Connor, great album. Before we let you go, one person you haven't met, Imelda May. That is your favourite album, I believe?
It's my favourite person as well. And I've never met her. I've never met her. So do you want, maybe you can get a word in for me there.
We'll do our best. Come here, where can people find out more online if they want to come down and visit?
The Irish Rock and Roll Museum, it's online there. We're in the middle of Temple Bar. And we've got a website, it's all there. You can book your tickets online or you can just turn up at the door, and we have wonderful guides here. We even have French tours as well.
All right. And you two, over 200 million albums and counting.
And the rest.
And the rest. All right, so much to do, so much to see here. But for now, guys, and we've got all these guitars as well. Incredible, really, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing.
We're here all morning. Back to you guys in studio.
Very much, Derek. I love seeing old memorabilia and stuff. Great. So cool. Great, interest stuff. Look how forward to visit that sometime now. Still to come. We're going to catch up with the stars of Virgin Media's new dating show, Grá Ar An Trá.
Plus, from Cozy Coats to alluring accessories, we're bringing you autumnal fashion on the catwalk.
Really looking forward to going visiting things. We'll be back in a minute. Talk to you in a second.
So long weekend.
Are you interested in winning a 2-night stay in a luxurious 4-star hotel? The Galmont Hotel Galway have teamed up with Ireland AM all this week to give one lucky viewer the chance to win a wonderful 2-night stay with them. Situated in the heart of Galway City, the Galmont Hotel are delighted to give away a 2-night stay for 2 people with breakfast each morning, along with a delicious dining experience in the award-winning Marina's restaurant on one evening. Explore the very best the city has to offer with the Galmont as your personal gateway to the West. For your chance to win, just text PRIZE to 57199 or call 1550 999 200 and answer this question. Which province is County Galway in? Is it A, Connacht or B, Leinster? Best of luck.
Good luck with that one then as well. We have a lot of texts coming in about phrases that annoy you. Quite interesting. Monica basically said that she would like people to stop using the word basically.
Basically stop using basically.
It's become the new literally.
Yeah,
basically,
I always say
literally.
She always goes out to me by saying literally for some reason.
Well, in a context, what would you say?
I don't know unless I'm saying it.
I'm literally
sick of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're not actually literally sick of it. It's just a thing that said, I haven't noticed you saying that.
No, me neither. It comes off the back of a story from the pubs being trained now to say to people to kind of stop binge drinking, to say, do you want a double on that? Or is that a double?
Yeah,
or else
they would say, would you like a single or like a single or a double? Yeah.
Then Michael said, let's put this to bed is one of the most annoying phrases. Why are we putting it in bed?
Well, that's true. OK, let's put this whole meeting to bed now. Let's get it on. Let's move on.
Well, I get that because the kids are like, should we just put the kids to bed so we get a bit of peace?
Go get a bit of peace and go.
As someone who works in the retail, the phrase, I need to speak with a manager.
I genuinely thought that was like an American thing that you wouldn't hear it in Ireland.
Oh,
that's bad. What, have you said it?
I have said it.
Why?
If you get bad service, you'd go, excuse me, can I speak to a manager? I would have definitely said it. Why
do you
not?
work in retail?
No, but not only retail. Not only retail,
He's
but in the service industry
hotels.
in general, in hotels or whatever like that. If you're being treated badly, you say, can I speak to the manager?
And what do you say?
And then I'll complain to them, and you obviously
so you get your meal for free?
No.
There you go.
You will get...
But, sir, you've finished the whole steak. You can't do that.
At least you'll get something like a resolution to the problem.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get a resolution to the problem.
I literally...
And basically, you would get a resolution.
Basically, I literally want to speak to the manager. Thank you so much for sending in all of those phrases
LOL.
today.
Who says LOL? Nobody says LOL.
How about this? Fuckle up. What's that? That means word up. Word up, everybody, because after the break, we'll be chatting to 2 of the contestants of Virgin Media's brand new dating show, Grá Ar An Trá.
Yeah, we'll find out if they've entered for Gaelga or Grá after the break.
Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, Tommy, what do you get when you put 10 siblings, I mean singletons, into a house in the Gaeltacht? Well, that's what we're set to find out as Virgin Media Television's newest show, Grá Ar An Trá, kicks off tonight.
Sure does. Before we chat to two of the show's participants, here's a sneak peek.
This is the Gaeltacht as you've never seen it before.
Fáilte go Grá Ar An Trá. Last time I spoke Irish probably would have been in secondary school. I'm here to find my Prince Charming. I know what I'm looking for. I've kissed too many frogs. Oh, girls, look! I'm such a catch.
Oh, wow. This is actually deadly, isn't it? Hey, what's the crack? What?
Let's talk about the chalk.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, chalk.
I don't have any chat plans. If I want something, I'll go and get it. I will literally walk up to a fella and be like, are you single? And that's it.
Sketchy Nini. That means excited. It doesn't, does it? That's wrong. No, I don't know. Sketchy me. You're...
Mar sin, Kermish tús leis na clí.
An Irish dating show that's actually really good.
It's like so exciting.
Yeah, I've seen a little sneak peek and it's very good.
Fashion. Femi and Ciara, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's lovely to have you here. Femi, do you have the beard? Do you have the beard brush there?
I actually do.
You do not. He was watching the...
Doesn't leave home without it. Hey, Femi, why did you go on a dating show?
To whip out my dear comb.
To whip out the comb.
I honestly ask myself the same question every day since.
I
don't know. It was just something different to find a bit of Grá, I suppose. Put myself in a different situation.
And Ciara, how would you have described your love life before you went on this show?
Non-existent. Yeah, non-existent. It was chaos. There was no hope going through the dating stages, like going through the dating websites and everything like that. They don't work.
The apps?
So the apps and everything like that, yeah, they don't work. So I said, I'm going to try something new, completely new.
But you've said that you know exactly what you want.
Exactly.
So maybe the dating apps, like you're kind of swiping through, it's just like, nah. So like, why are you so direct? Why do you think that works for you?
Why I'm looking for something particular?
Yeah.
I think I've been through enough that I know that.
So
I know what I want.
What are you looking for? What do you want?
How long have you got? A lot. I'm expecting a lot, and I won't take anything below bare minimum.
No compromising?
No, not at all.
Did you feel that when you got into the house and you met Ciara? Femi, were you like, oh, this girl has high standards?
Yeah, as she should be. As she should as well, like, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be setting for any less than you deserve, like. I love that.
Oh, gentlemen. But you do say that the dating scene, like, you get a bit frustrated with it because one little thing that maybe you do, Ciara might not like, and that's you completely gone, as opposed to like compromise and like you can change.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was coming to it out of like after being like in a very long-term relationship, right? So I was coming into dating and I was like, oh, you said something wrong or you have your little icks and red flags. I was like, go away. I was like, hey, relax. Like none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. The whole part of like falling in love and dating is by like finding a place to be vulnerable with someone else, finding a place to make your mistakes in a safe space. And I feel like in the dating world today, it's just like one strike and you're right.
That is really true. It does feel like we don't give anyone a chance anymore. And we're not going to... Listen, we can't tell you who's the couples from this. This has obviously all been filmed. But this does have an extra layer.
Yes.
Because when I saw it, it just made me smile. Like, Ciara, what a genius idea to bring... Like, I went to Irish college and I absolutely loved it. So...
Did you find love in the Gaeltacht?
No. Well, no, I went out with someone, obviously. But were there Cayleys? Did you do a Cayley at this?
Yeah, there was dancing, bad dancing.
It's good dancing, I would say. It's good. I think it's good.
For myself.
Like, you know, the walls, like CJ Ennis Walls of Limerick, all that kind of stuff. Why did you decide to go, do you know what? Let's do this on television. Let's look for love and learn a bit of Irish. Because you're adding a lot of layers here, Ciara.
I just wanted to throw myself into something new. I just thought, you know, I've been there, done that, wore the T-shirt, put me on something new, you know.
And what was it like? Because going into a house with 9 other contestants, like, and knowing that it's on television as well, so that your parents and, you know, or people you know are going to be watching, did it make it that bit more nerve-wracking?
A little bit, yeah. Like, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not normally a nervous person. Like, I'd be an open book, I'd try anything new, like, you know. But yeah, I thought maybe going in, like, there's 9 other people here, how am I gonna, is there gonna be drama? Are we all gonna get along with each other? Like, is the house gonna be kept clean?
Oh my God.
We just saw you.
I've watched that clip so many times, Femi.
I know.
Sorry, come
And
on. It's where Femi kicked someone in the face when you were doing sports.
That was the first day I met her. That was like within like hours of meeting this girl, and I like kicked her in the face, and I was like, oh my God, like, what? And then, like, because when it happened, I was like, oh, would you come off? I didn't really kick you in the face, right? But then I seen this, and I was like, I kicked her in the face.
It's like you were just doing a wheelbarrow.
Does this follow on from you saying, like, sometimes you make mistakes?
No, that's a red flag. That's an ick there for me, right? It was so bad.
Accidental.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, because, you know, being on TV is one thing.
Yeah.
But you are looking, did the having to learn Irish kind of get the defences down and make you forget? Because you genuinely had a task to do every single day in trying to get the cúpla focal.
Yeah, and it's actually amazing, right? It's kind of like, you know, like one of those things, like when you're working with someone, when you're kind of like, you learn so much about someone when they're trying to teach you and when you're trying to learn from them, right? So whether it's like, oh my God, she's actually like really patient. Oh my God, he's actually picking these things up really quickly. And you learn like different types of people's like personalities from that. And because it's in an environment where it's not like a traditional like dating environment, you become automatically vulnerable. Do you know? So it's actually quite cute.
Exactly, because sometimes going for food with somebody, like doing something that is so staged.
Yeah.
It feels artificial.
Yes.
Where actually when you're doing something together where you're both kind of learning, it's a great way to kind of actually open you up to see the real person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I won't say too much, but you could see the patience in people and kind of people who weren't so patient when they were trying to learn Oscailga.
And is it the sort of thing, did you learn a bit of, because Femi, you said that it started coming back from school, the Irish.
Yes, I learned a lot of Irish. Like, genuinely speaking, like, my passion for the language was fully reignited coming out of it. Like, I was like really enamored. Like, the best thing about it is, right, whenever you're like learning Irish in school, it's in a very like stale academic setting, right? And you get like very focused on like the grammar and like, you know, how you structure your sentences, right? But the best thing about this is, anytime I forgot a word in Irish, I just said it in English. And then you're having conversations using like Irish and English interchangeably, which is perfect.
It's perfect.
Functional Irish.
You're totally trying.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Hey, success then. Did you enjoy?
any shifting?
Can you tell us? Was there
What are
any
you allowed to
shifting?
tell? Was there shifting?
Did you find Grá?
All will be confirmed.
They're not at the end. It's like, there's someone over here going, no, Kira, no. You're not allowed to say anything. People have to watch this.
Sparks were flying.
Sparks are flying. Okay, love it. We'll leave it at that.
What does that mean? They've literally told us nothing off air either. Like, I've got no idea what's going on here.
Stay tuned.
Kira McMenemy, thank you so much for both coming and talking to us this morning.
Thanks so much. It is starting tonight. Grá Ar An Trá, Virgin Media 1.
9 o'clock. Make sure to check it out. It's great viewing. Now, still to come, we've got fall favourites on the catwalk.
Plus, we've got the latest showbiz sauce and scandals. We'll see you back here very shortly. Welcome back. Now, as the days get colder, it's all about wrapping up and looking good whilst doing it.
Yes, and Mandy Marr is here with some autumnal coats and accessories to keep us looking fabulous.
Good morning.
And you're looking fabulous this morning.
Thanks so much. I have to say, we have been having this conversation, but actually everything I'm wearing this morning is almost 10 years old, would you believe it?
Yeah,
so it's peace to have in the water. Thanks very much. But I don't mind saying it. Because people are always thinking you're forever getting buying new clothes, which I am, I'm deadly. But the other side of it is that there's still pieces in my wardrobe I'll still wear. So hence, thanks very much.
You look gorgeous. gorgeous.
Thank
Let's
you.
start off now. We're looking at autumnal wear, and this is Mary.
We are, and we're heading to Mullingar this morning to the most beautiful store called Red Earth, and it's a homeware store and lifestyle store, and that's exactly what we're showing this morning. But I'm absolutely adore this outfit because I just think it's so autumnal. It's beautiful. So starting off, of course, with this beautiful Trilby.
We'll go with the jacket. We'll go with the big coat.
Oh, okay, we'll go with the coat. Well, the coat is definitely very much a talking point because it's actually a reversible coat.
Look, the pockets and all on the other side.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? So it's the faux fur on one side of it, and then obviously we're showcasing the suede this morning, as Mary's wore this suede this morning. But it's a beautiful coat.
Can I ask you something? What happens if that gets wet?
I don't know, but hopefully it won't, Alan. Is all I can say. Mind it if it's suede.
So my dad had one of those for years. It was grand. It got wet.
Yeah, and it's fine, and it will be fine. But it's a fantastic price point for the two.
You've got to wear a protector. You'd spray it with a protector.
Absolutely, you sure would. Yeah. Now we teamed up then with this. It's an oversized wrap that we actually put around the shoulder this morning on this with Mary. But again, like that, there's a multiple way of you can style this, but we just kept it very simple because there was a lot going on with the headpiece as well, with the hat itself.
So we've got some jeans and a nice top, basically.
Then we've got our jeans and our top, and they're actually from the House of Logo and Nace, the jeans and top. But again, like that, you know yourself, we're big fans of the jeans. You can never go wrong. And jeans are something you should invest in a good pair.
Yeah.
Because they're something you will always have. And as well as that, to get a good quality
They
pair of
last
jeans.
for years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we just teamed up with a beautiful, simple white top then as well.
Gorgeous. And now we are looking at the bag.
And the bag, of course, is Red Earth as well, and lots of colours going on in that. But in particular, I'm loving the shade of green. Isn't it fabulous? Yeah, it's a very unusual shade, and that forest green, but it's fabulous. And loving the print as well that's on it. But just this full look for me, I just think it ticks the boxes and looking really super elegant and chic.
Because you've got so much accessories going on. Can we look at like the hat? Oh no, sorry. Where are we going?
We're going to
bracelet.
we're going to the bracelet. So all of the jewellery. This is actually by an Irish designer called Emma by June, and a beautiful bracelet. We've got the ring. We do have little hoop earrings and a chain as well for matching as well. But again, like that, sometimes with an outfit like this, you don't need to go OTT with the outfit. That's kept them quite simple and in the jewellery, and not to go too mad with the jewellery.
Because it is the hat.
Yeah, it is. It's all about the hat.
Isn't it fabulous?
It's lovely, yeah.
I'm loving it, particularly for the race season. We've still got the race season coming up as well with the autumn race season. But I love this because it is felt. It's in the two-tone of the camel and cream. But as I said, to me, it's just a very chic outfit.
And the little earrings and the neck piece here.
Yeah, and all from Red Earth as well.
Thank you so much for that, Mary. Cheers. Thank you very much. We've got Igne for our next look. Oh, very bright.
And we're staying with Red Earth and Mullingar. Isn't this fab? And this is actually the coat in the green. I'm loving this.
Same coat?
It's the same coat actually in the green. We've worn it the other way around this time. We actually wore it with the faux fur.
colours on the inside.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
wow.
there you can see then it's the suede on the inside. There you can see. Isn't it beautiful?
Was the collar that big on the other one?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
because
you had
we turned. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's actually similar. It's the same coat, but I'm loving it. And again, like that, it's the colour, Alan. I think is what really.
Well, now if you're heading off to France to support Ireland,
I tell you, that's the
there you go. You definitely be standing out.
The little bag there.
Then we went for a little bag, and the bag is in the check. And actually, I want to mention about the check in the bag as well. Check is going to be huge coming in for the season. It's going to be a big print that we're going to see a lot of.
Okay.
If you're not a big fan of wearing it, you can add it in your accessories, which is exactly what we've done with a bag like this.
I love the scarf with this. It's gorgeous.
Isn't it lovely, Alan? And again, like that, lots of prints going on, lots of shades going on, but picking up all the autumn colours at the same time. And again, like that, so you see the kind of bronzy beige. You can easily wear a different colour outfit with this if you wanted to, obviously, but we kept it quite simple with just the plain black underneath.
And just a beautiful bracelet there as well, Igne, with that one.
Absolutely,
gorgeous.
Lovely. And again, Irish design as well. And again, we kept the jewellery quite simple because, as I said, sometimes if you go too much with the jewellery, it can actually kill an outfit. And that's what you need to be careful of when choosing pieces and styling outfits.
Because you've gone with sort of quite simple earrings.
Exactly, Alan.
Here,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the same with the little chain as well.
Beautiful. They really do pop. Honestly, that is just for the Irish, like, you know, if you're supporting Ireland.
And just the way you've just kept the black underneath, so it really the colour pops.
Exactly.
Lovely.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous there, yeah.
Look, 3 from Katie this morning.
Oh, the colours are really popping.
Oh, yeah, no, we've got lots of colour this morning. So we're heading to the House of Logo in Nace, a boutique in the heart of Nace on Main Street, but a magenta colour. I just think this is super, super chic. Isn't it fabulous?
Beautiful.
I know, absolutely love this as well.
The
coat it's stunning, Alan. A fabulous coat in the magenta. They have these obviously in a few colours, but again, like that, it's sitting back. You can wear this coat with absolutely anything else you have in your wardrobe, and that's what you need to be clever when you're buying. People often say, "Oh, I have nothing in my wardrobe." You have plenty to wear if you add pieces like this to add with it and be able to swip and swap around.
You were slagging me last week, my grey coat, the ploughing, that I'd worn it years ago as well at the ploughing.
Oh yeah, we had a picture in from 2019 and you were in the same
But it's an investment piece. There you go, and it's an investment piece.
Now, do you have to buy this as a suit or is this separate?
This is actually sold as a separates, actually. But to be honest with you, I think you'd kill it if you bought them as separates. I think you need the full suit. It really, really does look well together. I think very, very sharp, teamed up there with a very different colouring in the bag, as you notice as well. Just to kind of go with something a little bit different. You could easily, obviously, go with. We could have gone with black. I actually have a black bag down in the changing area this morning, but we decided to go with this one instead.
The cut of those trousers,
and they're amazing. I'm absolutely
stunning.
loving this suit. It's, to me now, that's just fabulous. And the fact that you can swip and swap, Alan. You can wear the jacket with other pieces, or indeed the trousers as well.
Gorgeous. This is a very Mandy Marr outfit.
It actually is,
isn't it?
I kind of have been labelled, and we're staying with the House of Logo in this, but again, like
Gorgeous
this, I'm loving.
coat.
Isn't it fabulous? Beautiful autumn cream winter colour coat. Loving it. Again, like that. We say about wardrobe staples, this is a wardrobe staple and a must-have.
Gorgeous. A polo neck then underneath.
And we just went with a simple knit underneath. Again, it's two-tone. We can see it here. It's in the petrol blue. It has the camel. It has the cream. We left it, it is oversized actually, and we did leave it and styled it outside and then teamed up with these great trousers.
Great trousers.
Camel trousers can never go wrong. Isn't it amazing how we always go back to the same theme of the colours? But they always look chic. And they actually, the new saying is now they speak old money, is what they say. And that's what's when they say about camel, it's always that extra little notch, as I do say, but I'm loving it. Very simple outfit, but yet classy at the same time.
Gorgeous. The big bag.
Big bag. Off you go.
Some lovely outfits there.
Yeah, I'm loving the clothes this morning.
And it's amazing the way you can change it up by just accessories, a scarf.
And that's exactly what you need to do, Alan. It's about, as I said, it's about being clever styling, and that's what it's about.
Gorgeous. Thank you very much, Mandy. Thank you so much. Now, after the break, we're going to have the latest from Hollywood. We've got everything from Jonas and Sophie Turner, what's going on there. Also, Kylie Jenner's subtle relationship update. So subtle, none of us have a clue what that's about.
If you want all the goss, stay with us. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Welcome back to Ireland AM. Now, from major Super Bowl reveals to Kim Kardashian's latest move. She's an actress now. It's been a busy week in the world of showbiz.
It certainly has. And Goss.ie's Ali Ryan is here now to chat through some of the biggest stories of the week. Good morning to you, Ali. And we're going to start off with the latest from Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner's divorce.
This is very Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie vibes, and I feel like this is going to go on forever. Ironically, they released a statement jointly saying it was an amicable split, but we're realising very quickly it's not amicable. So since I was last chatting to you guys, Sophie Turner has now fired back. So you remember at the start, everything was coming from Joe's team. There was lots of leaks as well.
He was minding the kids.
He was minding the kids.
Well, the nannies were minding the kids.
The first time we've ever seen Joe on his own, photographed with his own kids, came out right around this time. We were hearing sources, she parties too much, she hasn't been home. And then bam, out of nowhere, Sophie's hitting back. She's suing for custody. She's saying that Joe abducted their children and refused to return the passport. So we were chatting about this before, Maureen, that, she was in the UK shooting.
She was filming Joe.
Why was she not with her kids? And now in these papers, she's saying, well, I actually tried to take the kids back and he wouldn't let me. So now she's saying, now it's a bit of a tricky one. I don't think this is going to fly in the courts. She's trying to say that the kids' residence is the UK, which it isn't. They've only been there for a few months.
But they have been enrolled in schools. They have hired nannies. They have bought a house. There was an awful lot of things there that have gone, we were set up for our life in the UK.
The judge doesn't care, though.
But this seems to be the breaking point between the two of them. She doesn't want to live in America.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't. But there's interviews only from a couple of months ago of her saying, I've been trying to persuade him to move and he won't. So it's going to get thrown out. No judge is going to say that the rights should be in England. And the laws are so different that her attorney is trying to make it an UK case because it's much easier to bring the kids there.
Oh, right, if it's a UK.
Yeah, he's like, no, they've literally their entire lives lived in America, which is genuinely true. But look, what we want is that it never gets to court. They really should just have 50-50. It should be split. But, his side have come out now saying she's being nasty nasty by suggesting he abducted the kids. It's like, well, he's been nasty saying she's basically an alcoholic who hasn't been looking after her children.
And then how does Taylor Swift come into all this?
So I suppose one of Joe's most famous romances before Sophie was with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
She wrote lots of music about him. Everybody knows that he's one of her famous exes. Now the two of them are besties, going out for dinner every night. Sophie
This
and
is Sophie
Taylor.
and Taylor spotted around loads of places.
Fans are loving it. There's memes or memes, whatever you call it, all over Twitter because there's pictures of them inside a restaurant and Taylor's just like listening so intently.
And drinking wine.
And drinking wine. And they're like,
this is the point that Taylor plotted the divorce.
yeah, it's like, did she plot that? Is she getting war trauma from listening back? So, I mean, I love to see it, to be honest. I think Sophie needs a lot of support because the rhetoric has been so against her. And I think Taylor, you know, she is
but
a
he's
girl's
tried.
girl.
Every single think piece in the paper
And it
has been,
hasn't worked.
Jonas, don't try.
Yeah.
You can't do this against
But
against
there are kids involved. I really hope it
Yes.
doesn't get dragged to court. And I do think she wants to stay in the UK, so hopefully they'll just have like a split between them where they live between the two.
And Taylor apparently has a new boyfriend.
Yes, so Travis, I'm going to say Kels or Kelsey, I don't know, because he's an American footballer. But last night, this is what I love about Taylor too. You hear a rumour that she might be seeing someone, bam, she's at his game. So she was at his game last night. He scored a home run or touchdown. I don't know the sport. But he scored something.
Whatever.
He scored something.
Scored anyway.
Yeah.
And he scored Taylor
and
after.
And he scored Taylor. And one of the newscasters was interviewing one of the people on the team being like, were you under pressure because of the Swifties? Like, they literally asked him on the actual pitch. So every Swiftie is very happy. They love that he's American. Her last two boys have been British. So people are yeah, I know. They're loving that he's American. He's a sports player. But we'll see how long it lasts.
She also managed to get 38,000 people to sign up to vote over the weekend by just telling them to sign up to vote. So the woman is powerful. Sticking with American football, Usher has been revealed as the halftime performer at Super Bowl.
Have you seen the announcements that he did on his Instagram? Because it's actually one of the best reveals I've ever seen. So if you remember his song Confessions Part 2, it starts off where someone's ringing him and he's hello, I'm in the studio. It's a girl telling him that he's pregnant. But he got loads of celebrities to do it.
Kim
So it's
Kardashian.
Kim. Yeah. But Kim Kardashian being like, you're playing the Super Bowl. The funniest one is himself in the future being like, yo, you're playing the Super Bowl. And he's like, what? I'm in the studio. It's done so well. So they have hyped it up quite a bit. I think it's going to be brilliant. I can see you're hesitant. No,
I know about one song. Yeah.
Usher.
More.
Usher.
Usher.
Yeah, that's all you need.
What I did know about this is like the Super Bowl only give you a certain amount of budget, and most of them then go and spend millions of their own money.
They don't even get paid to do the Super Bowl.
But there is a certain amount of budget there. But then they go and just, if you want this big extravaganza, you pay for it.
The thing I like about Usher as well is he's worked with so many amazing people. I mean, he's the person that found Justin Bieber. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a very collaborative show where we're going to see people.
Loads of guest artists
like imagine
coming on.
Ashanti coming back, Justin Bieber. Like, I think it could be like a really like late 90s, early 2000s kind of vibe. And I would love to see that. Last year, Rihanna did it. She was amazing. But a lot of people were disappointed.
Got the biggest audience, though. It seemingly got the biggest halftime audience.
Yeah, people love her. Yeah. But people were disappointed that no one came on, though. So I do think with Usher, we'll probably get multiple people. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really good one.
We saw Kim Kardashian there. She's in the latest season of American Horror Story, very much dividing people.
Yeah. So it's an interesting one because Lady Gaga obviously did her kind of role in there and that threw her into Hollywood. Became an Oscar-winning actress and all that stuff. I don't think it's going to be like that for Kim, but people are impressed. She's basically playing Kris Jenner in the show, so she's basically Emma Roberts, a Hollywood agent. She's trying to get her on the Oscar run, and she's very funny in it. I've seen some of the clips. Like, she kind of takes the mick out of herself and her own roles and the things she's done to get to where she is. Andy Cohen's on it. He's genuinely playing himself. It is good. I don't think she's going to become an Oscar-winning actress, but
she was very good on Saturday Night Live when she was,
she's good in this too. Like, you are watching going, okay, fair play.
Fair play.
So maybe this is the start of something. I don't know.
Well done.
We'll see.
Ali, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. All the gossip there. Now, on tomorrow's show, Olympian Dervler Works is going to be stopping by for a chat.
Plus, the Skin Nerd will be here with her dermal do's and don'ts. What's that? You're out of dermal?
No idea. We'll find out. We're also going to have the latest page turners you won't want to put down. We're back here again from 7 tomorrow morning. Thank you for joining us.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.